Alright, I am live.
Alright, sweet.
Live! Let me link attach it to these scrubs.
Coming
Is
to
that
you live,
Rivers?
it's Wednesday evening. Oh man, so
That's
much
so
happened.
funny.
So much happened at D23, I'm trying to get it all.
Galaxy's Edge.
Oh my god. Dude, that's like the promised land.
The new hotel was pretty dope too.
Yeah, I know, that's like the best part.
It's gonna be crazy.
I'm just gonna go live there.
And have to
The
make
Stormtrooper
everyone follow you around and refer to you as Commander. How does the Commander like his eggs?
It looks pretty sick.
Alright, let me check out our YouTube.
Alright, Death Star.
Alright. Oh, nice shit. You already my partner?
Oh, I've been your partner.
Yeah. Oh shoot, I think I posted
Searching.
the wrong thing.
On your personal Insta.
Yeah, that'd be kind of embarrassing.
We're gonna get some more gameplay at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Gamescom 2.
I don't need any more gameplay, honestly.
know.
I'm sated on Battlefront until the beta comes out. I could do
Yeah,
nothing
I'm
else,
pretty
and
much
I'd be
sold
fine.
on it all.
Although, you know the
I was
funniest
cool
thing,
watching it.
the girl from the campaign, Carly pointed out it's Shiva from the League.
Dude, I figured that out like just the other day. I was like, Shiva Kamini, someone. I was like, oh my god, it's Shiva. Oh my god.
Anything
was
that she's in,
amazing.
I'm cool with because she's a babe.
That's
Yeah, dude,
that's fun.
I was pretty
I'm gonna play.
surprised.
I'm gonna be lurking in third person the whole campaign. Like,
Turn off armor like in KOTOR. Run around in underwear.
take the helmet off. Take the helmet off.
Your defenses are like 0 out of 100.
It's
She was
weird.
cool though, cause she's like legit a nerd. Like when they gave her the helmet,
she is legit a nerd.
she was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a great job at EA Play
Yeah.
and at D23. Like she's doing a great job promoting the game altogether, and I just think she's gonna make a great main character because she seems to really love the role that she got to play. Like she seems to really be into it. Not to mention, like it must be exciting to like officially be a part of Star Wars canon. Like you are
Oh, for
now
sure.
a part of like the Star Wars like universe.
She like
as a
started
whole.
crying when she was saying thank you.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Like I love that she seems to really like know
And
how
she's a
important
bitch.
it is to fans, and she's a smoking babe. Yeah, she's really hot. So yeah, I guess we might as well get started. D23 happened. Hello for those who are watching, those who will join over time. I'll introduce ourselves again. It is. I'm not even sure what. I think it's the 19th.
It is the 19th.
Today. Sweet.
Oh, no,
a lot
not the
happened.
19th.
Last time we talked, I told you guys that we would have a lot to talk about this week because D23 happened. So that happened, and we have a lot to talk about. So there was so many announcements. It's hard to know where to start because I'm just really excited about all of it. We got not a trailer, which we definitely, last time we got together, we thought we were going to get a trailer. We didn't. We got a behind-the-scenes sneak peek at what's going to be going on in The Last Jedi.
Which is cool, too.
Which was really cool. Some of you guys out there weren't necessarily unhappy with what we got. You just wanted a trailer. I understand. It's all right. We'll talk about that. We'll try to walk you through it and help you out, and explain to you why it's not so bad that we got a behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was actually kind of stoked about it, honestly. I wanted a trailer too, but I wasn't expecting what we got. So when we got it, I was like, "This is really cool," because they've never done that before. Oh god, I almost killed myself.
Yeah, I was really happy with what we got, honestly. That we got some awesome. We also got behind the scenes look at the story mode for Battlefront 2, which looks awesome. The story mode looks like it's shaping up to be like a really neat and pretty cool. And then Galaxy's Edge is going to be a new little attraction. Not little, but a new attraction coming to.
The model was
Disney.
like 50 feet or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, the model was awesome. Not only that, but we got a new look at Kylo Ren's ship.
Today.
His new fighter, that was just today, actually. And not only that, but like I said, we got some more information on Battlefront 2 and what the characters are going to be like. And what am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, there's a hotel as well, I think.
Which is totally immersive and pretty cool.
Yeah, there's going to be a hotel. So, so to start, we'll start with The Last Jedi stuff. So there was not a trailer, there was behind the scenes
there was
footage,
Carrie Fisher making me cry.
Yeah.
Cry. Everyone cried.
I cried. Definitely cried. Teared up a little bit. I was really excited to see Carrie Fisher. So we didn't get to see any trailer, but the behind-the-scenes footage was just as revealing as any trailer would have been as to
we
the
saw
tone
a ton
of
of
the movie.
characters, ton of new species of aliens, ton of locations. We saw Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro. Like everything you could want, you saw in the. It was basically a trailer.
I think that the idea to go with the behind-the-scenes little look over a trailer was a smart decision in the sense that there's really not much more they need to do to sell this movie, to be quite honest. Like, they don't really need, like, Disney doesn't really need to do anything. They could literally just put out, like, a sketching of, like, a mountain that might be in the movie, and people would, like, lose their minds. Like, it just, like, at this point, the hype is so, like, real that they could do anything and we would really be excited. So, like, I felt like putting out this was a lot better because they gave us more of what we actually wanted, was, like, at least what I wanted, which was to see, like, how the movie's coming together, like, how the characters are all kind of meshing together, like, what new worlds might be there, and honestly, we wouldn't be able to get that with a trailer. Like, with a trailer, we would have just gotten, like, footage of this place, this little tease of this place. Like, we got so much more of an in-depth look than we would have gotten with just a trailer. Like, and like I said, you can pretty much get a tone you can get at least a little bit of an idea of what the movie is going to be like, as far as, like, pacing and tone and all that when it comes to the behind-the-scenes footage, because a lot of it felt like there was a lot of, just even the colors that they use, like simple stuff like that, there's a lot of reds.
Yeah, the posters
like
are really nifty for that reason, too.
Oh my gosh, the posters are... Oh, that's right, I forgot about the posters. Oh my gosh, that's true. The posters were incredible. The posters were incredible. If you haven't seen the posters, guys, go check them out. We posted them to our site. Page. Yeah, they're on our page. And, they're pretty incredible. I mean, it's all the characters. I think it's Rey, Finn, Kylo, Luke, Leia, and
Poe.
Was there a Poe?
Yeah, there was a Poe.
There was.
Yeah, there was Poe, and they were all in red. Every single one of them.
Yeah, it's a really dark-looking poster, because even Empire was super dark colors, but it was like purple and blue and black, and this has a lot more red to it, which to me is
and I mean,
pretty interesting.
If we're in the Star Wars universe, we know blue for Jedi, red for the Sith. Like, that's always how it's been. Like, you know, blue for the light side, red for the dark side.
Right.
So to have all these characters dressed all in red, or, you know, to have these, things strikingly in red, and then not to mention the original, I shouldn't say the original poster, but the first poster we got to see
that was red too.
At EA Play was also red with that, like, little bit of blue from Rey's lightsaber kind of cutting through it, but the majority of it was red. Like, that was really the color that stood out. So, like, this is obviously a theme throughout, and we know red for the dark side. So we can already, like, guess off of simple stuff like that this is definitely going to be a darker movie. I'm
plus
really
the
excited
ending
for
of the last movie. I mean, there's no way it could be a lighthearted movie. It just wouldn't work.
No, honestly, and I don't know what you guys think about this, but I'm thinking that we're getting possibly set up to lose a main character. And I don't mean Leia or Luke. I mean one of the new main characters.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I disagree. I think we'll lose one of the old main characters, and we will retain... I mean, it's just the formula. We'll have the trio.
The only reason why I think that we might is because they keep, like, in the trailer or in the behind-the-scenes footage that we got, they made a point to say, this, like, we're taking twists and doing things that haven't really been done in other Star Wars films.
Yeah, I think maybe Kylo or something like that would be. I mean, it's just not something I see happening, but I can see the speculation.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think we might lose someone. Let me know what you guys think. If you are in listening with us, let me know in the comments possibly what you think if we might lose someone in this next movie, because it does look like it might be a little darker. I don't know. We'll see. I agree with Adam, though. If we do lose someone, like if we absolutely are going to lose someone in this movie, who knows? It might be one of the older characters. It might be somebody who we get introduced to in this movie and then they're gone. I wouldn't be too keen on that, though, just because you never really, I don't know, the emotional weight, unless they do a really good job of it, the emotional weight of losing someone that you just met isn't ever really as serious as losing like a main character or something like that. So, but we'll see. But from what we've seen so far, really what was the best thing I saw out of that was the use of practical effects.
Yeah, lots of underwater stuff without CGI.
Yeah. It was really cool. Like, we got a ton of new, especially like that cute little alien that's already in all those memes.
All the aliens were, it looked like they were puppets, which is really cool. I was stoked about that with BB-8 from The Force Awakens. And even in one of the behind-the-scenes videos, if you look carefully, you can see BB-8 racing around in the background. So,
can you? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think that returning to that was a big step for Force Awakens, and it looks like they're continuing with it.
Yeah, also, there was, that, like, silver, like, they had a lot of really cool aliens, but the one that really stuck out with me was, like, it was, like, this silver or crystal wolf. It was, like, this wolf that was, like, crystallized. It was so cool. I was like, oh my god, this movie's gonna be there. Like, the aliens in this movie, like, are ones that we've never seen before, so that means we're gonna be in worlds that we've never seen before, and it seems like
you got to see what's her face, Laura Dern, on that casino-looking planet. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Erica says she would like to see a shocking betrayal, but she thinks that might be too Empire Strikes Back. And I would agree. I think that it would be a cool thing for the story, like for Finn to turn or somebody to turn, but like even Luke. But everyone's complaint, or not everyone, but a lot of people's complaint about Force Awakens is that it was too parallel to New Hope, and if this is anything like Empire, I think people will lose it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a betrayal would be interesting. I mean, I think that if anybody was to, I couldn't see Finn betraying Rey.
No.
Unless something crazy happened where maybe she started to, like,
he might betray, like, Poe to save Rey or something.
Like that.
I mean, there's a lot of ways he could be manipulated because of his naivete. I agree with her that it would be too Empire. I mean, unless it's something like, I don't know. Luke, maybe, because he hasn't really done much yet. But I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll find out who Rey's parents are. That's what I think is going to be the big thing.
There's one theory going around about Snoke that There's one theory going around about Snoke that I absolutely love, which is, like, once we figure out, like, the answer to, like, whose Rey parents is and who Snoke is and, like, who, like, the answer to all these questions is actually, like, way simpler, and, like, there's, like, one or two answers for all of it. So I think, like, it'll all tie in together somehow, like, Rey's parents, who Snoke is, and, like, who Finn may be, like, all this might tie into each other, because it's gonna be, like, there's a lot of questions to answer in 2 movies.
Right.
And in order to do it, the storytelling has to be done in a way that's clean and interesting.
Right.
So, yeah, it'll be cool to see how they try to pull it all together. We got a little bit of a look at Snoke through a leak from Lego. There was a leak and Lego put out a bunch of stuff, and we got to see Snoke alongside this Imperial officer character who had what basically amounted to what people are calling, like, evil BB-8.
Yeah.
It's like a little black version of BB-8, which of course he's the evil one because he's black. Come on, guys.
It's Star Wars.
Come on, Lego.
2017.
Either way, right? Exactly. Come on, guys, let's get it together. How come the black droid gotta be an evil droid? But yeah. So either way, we gotta look at Snoke's robe, and at first, when like this leak came out a while ago, it looked like golden, but now with the new pictures, it looks like beige. So now there's this whole idea that Snoke is somehow the last Jedi. A lot of people are on this theory right now. I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, he had to have trained Kylo, so maybe he was like Luke's second in command at the Jedi Temple and betrayed him and took Kylo with him. I mean, that's something that could have happened.
He's so much older than Luke, though. Or maybe we just think
maybe,
he is because he
he's
looks
not.
like that.
Yeah, he just looks like he got... Maybe Luke effed him up, you know what I mean? Maybe Luke threw him in a volcano and 360 walked away. And this is, he burned off all his hair. Like, he's basically Vader without a mask. That would explain a lot, actually. That could explain how they have Vader's helmet. Like...
yeah,
it could be a lot coming out of it.
The only reason why I'm thinking, well, you know what?
And
No,
Kylo,
I think you might have just destroyed my idea.
Nope, this is what's happening. I'm telling you now. Because Kylo Ren, I'll bet you, is a Knight of Ren, but he's not the leader of it. He's one of them.
Right.
And Snoke has the Knights of Ren under him. That's what's going to happen. I just spoiled Star Wars for everybody.
Correct.
That's actually really good. I kind of like that.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Because they even allude to it in Force Awakens. They say how Snoke turned him. It's got nothing to do with him being evil. Snoke is, preying on his power.
You're right. How would Snoke have had access to him?
Yeah,
To be able to
that's
turn
what's
him?
happening.
Also, how would Han know Snoke
Yeah,
so well?
this is what's happening.
Because Han was like, oh, Snoke was able to
Snoke
turn
was a
our
good
son.
guy
Like,
who
how did Snoke...
turned him, and probably the rest of the Knights of Ren too.
Oh man, you know what? I might have been wrong. Because I said that I didn't think Snoke could be the last Jedi because in Force Awakens, at one point in time, he calls Luke the last Jedi. You know what I mean? So,
sure. Right, he might not consider himself a Jedi anymore.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I just thought. I'm like, well, maybe he's not considering himself a part of
He might
that
have been a
anymore,
Jedi,
so.
and then, done everything I just described.
Well, he's been around for the whole, rise and fall of the Empire.
Right.
So he could have possibly been... Oh my gosh.
A sympathizer.
You know what, dude? Either a sympathizer, or he could have been one of the surviving Jedis. Maybe when Luke went on this, mission to go figure out, where the rest of the Jedi went and all this other stuff, he maybe came upon Snoke, and Snoke, knowing how the Jedi fell and all that, maybe he wasn't a part of the good side as he thought. I don't know.
That would be not
That's pretty
easy
solid.
to do. You'd have to trick a Jedi Master in Luke, and that's not as big a betrayal.
Remember,
the only part that makes that a
Master...
betrayal is the fact that he took Kylo with him. I don't know. That would be interesting.
That's
I just
true.
don't think it would be
However,
as heavy a betrayal.
However, when it comes to Luke, though, as far as his powers as a Jedi, I don't ever remember hearing a comparison between him, like a canon comparison between him and the Jedi of old. As far as how powerful it is, how would he stack up against
in the old
Windu?
canon, he was the Grand Master. In the old canon, I mean, I know it's not the case anymore, but in the Jedi Knight games in particular, when you were Kyle Katarn in the Jedi Academy games, Luke was unbeatable. He was just...
That's right,
He was the grand
that's true. So I
Yoda
get that
character.
we're going off of what we know, which sometimes we have to.
Plus, he's a
because there are things
Skywalker.
that still haven't been explained yet. That's true. They are the lineage of the most powerful.
They bring
Jedi
down
of all
to the
time.
galaxy.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? That's a really good Snoke theory, honestly. That makes too much sense for it to be wrong.
Yeah, Erica said maybe Snoke was pretending to be someone, quote, normal, like the Emperor did to Anakin to lure him in, like some kind of government official or something. That might be it.
We see some...
That would just be hard to recruit a whole team. If my theory is right and Kylo's just a part of the Knights of Ren and not the leader of the Knights of Ren, then that would be a difficult thing to do if you're being a Palpatine type character. But who knows? And then Pedro says that the Last Jedi was plural in some of the international titles because, like, the Spanish title was Las Últimas Jedi, which is true, but Rian Johnson, the writer and director, actually came out and stated explicitly that the title is singular, that it's not the Last Jedi plural. They came out and said that explicitly. So that would be cool, but is not the case.
Yeah, unfortunately they debunked that, so... Yeah, no, unfortunately they threw that away, but honestly, we did also just get confirmation from Rian Johnson that he said the idea, like The Last Jedi, the definition of it is going to change as the movie goes on. So when we start the movie... Right,
exactly. Oh, I think, and we talked about it probably a month ago or so, I think the definition of just Jedi in general is more fluid than we're used to it being. Like, Luke might have an issue with the definition of the word Jedi. And that might have, because you got to remember too, in the first trailer he says it's time for the Jedi to end. So I think that
and that could just mean the Jedi ideals. That
right,
could mean
it could be the Order. It could be each person that was a Jedi, like Snoke.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that'll be really interesting.
What that means.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna put my money down on that Kylo Ren theory.
I think that's a good theory, honestly. I really do. I really do. Honestly, now I might be going into the movie with that expectation. But, I mean, this is definitely shaping up to be one of the most interesting Star Wars films.
Easily the most compelling. Yeah.
And they're not giving us anything.
How many loose ties that, and they did such a good job, like, of keeping everything so under wraps that we know.
I think they love this. I think they love, like, hearing all the theories.
Yeah. This is what they get off on.
Yeah.
And
I don't blame them.
Yeah, I would
dude,
too.
like, honestly,
they honestly
if you
don't
had
need
a
to
property
release
like Star Wars
anything
to hold to your chest, this is exactly what I would do.
Yeah, well, I guess that'd be my next question. Do you guys want a trailer? Or are you good?
And we are going to get one.
I want one. Yeah, I want one, but I'm just saying, like, if they didn't release it, I'd still be okay. Like,
yeah, no, the studio would not make one at this point. I mean, it's just not what the industry does. It would be suicide. They have to at least give us TV spots to run during, like, sporting events in the fall. That's how it works.
That's true.
But they'll give us a trailer. I'll be surprised if it's not at Comic-Con, but honestly, I was surprised it wasn't at D23. Maybe with Thor, but Thor's too late. Thor is really, really close to the release of Last Jedi, so we'll see. But I think for sure we will get one if you're looking for a short answer to your question.
I think we're going to see one, like you said, when the fall movies start dropping, and that whole box office rush, like the fall box office time is coming around. I think that's when we're going to see a trailer. And like you said, during sporting events, things like that, football season's definitely about to roll back around, and TV spots are a huge thing.
That's really their bread and butter.
Exactly. So I definitely agree with you. Like, we're gonna get another trailer, because I know I was on the forums today, and some people were like, "Oh man, I don't think we're getting another one."
No,
it's
not how Hollywood works. They literally have to. There's people with money invested in it that would not accept not having one. Pedro says that. Oh, go ahead first.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was just saying. I think it's a good move to not do a trailer at this time.
I was gonna say I agree with that too. They really tickled us for a long time and made us think we were gonna get one. Because you got to remember too, with Force Awakens, the trailer was like 6 months ago. Like we already had 2 or 3 trailers at this point. So this is really late, and I think they thought that we would get one at D23, and and they just totally tickled us and took it away. I mean, the behind the scenes video was a really good substitute, but that was totally intentional. Like you said a couple weeks ago, they don't do anything by mistake at Disney.
No, not at all.
Totally in the chessboard from 2 years ago when they first started signing directors and stuff.
Well, because they planned D23 in advance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
What did you think of the Disney legends Stan Lee and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher? That was pretty
honestly,
cool.
That was hard not to choke up a little bit. Like, quite honestly, as a big fan of Mark Hamill, as a person in general, he's just such a good guy.
Yeah. Stan Lee's speech was great too. It was literally like 2 days after his wife died, and he was talking about how he had Walt Disney's coffee table book and he wanted to be like him, and I don't know, it was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I really respected that they gave it to Stan Lee, because I feel like not necessarily that people forget about Stan Lee, but I'll talk to like a younger, I guess, generation. I feel like I'm not that old, but I'll talk to my
Those
little
damn
brother and stuff
millennials.
like that, and they don't really. He doesn't even know who Stan Lee even is. I was like, oh, we're watching one movie. I think it was like an older Spider-Man, and it was like that scene. Or no, we were actually watching Fantastic Four, not the crappy one. The older.
They're all crappy.
The older crappy one. And it was a scene where Stan Lee was in it, and I was like, oh, there's Stan Lee. He's in like all of them. He's like, who? I was like, oh god, you don't even know like who this guy is. So I was really happy to see that. Because I feel like I feel like as far as just people go in pop culture, Stan Lee, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher are probably 3 of my favorite people.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
They really are. So it was really nice to see them be honored in that way.
I'm kind of surprised Harrison Ford wasn't because of Indy, but
yeah, maybe he'll be next year.
Yeah.
Because isn't another Indy movie coming out?
Yeah, they're making a 5th one. He's in it too. So
yeah, so
I'm
thinking maybe they're gonna give him his maybe go all out with Indy and then induct him.
Yeah, because between Indy and Star Wars, he'll have been in what 8 Disney multi-billion-dollar movies.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Ford is basically he is like you say all the time, Adam, the goat. He's just
you can't
he's really the man. I love Harrison Ford. The guy's awesome.
So yeah, Pedro said that based on us talking about the way the Force works and the way the Jedi definition might be fluid, he thinks that Donnie Yen's character, the blind dude from Rogue One, might have been a Jedi. And I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they explained that he's not. Like someone came out and said that he's not. He not in the movie, but someone said it. He's force sensitive, which is why he can no scope a TIE fighter out of the sky without looking at with a crossbow.
Yeah, right. Without looking at all.
Right. But he's not a Jedi, and only because Jedi definition is very specific. You have to go through trials. You have to construct your own lightsaber. And he and his brother, or whoever the other guy is, they're what's called protectors of. What the heck is it called?
Protectors of the Wills.
The Wills, yeah, Guardians of the Will, and they protect the crystals, the kyber crystals, which are what is used to construct a lightsaber, and they also happen to be what's used to create the turbo laser on the Death Star. So he is force sensitive. They are on the planet Jedha, which is protecting the legacy of the Jedi. That's where the Jedi originated from, but he's not a Jedi by definition, and he would say that he's not a Jedi. He doesn't want to be considered one. It's a totally different concept. And his Force scientist is a good comment. Force scientist is Force security guards or Force monks as opposed to priests, which are the Jedi.
Now they are getting their own. Either they're getting their own comic book or they're getting their own book. I can't remember which one.
It's a comic. It is, and they're mentioned pretty extensively in the KOTOR games too, because you have to build your own lightsabers and all that in KOTOR, and also in Jedi Academy. But yeah, kyber crystals, they dig pretty deep in the planet Jedha. You can visit in KOTOR, if I'm not mistaken. And,
also they visit
talk about that
in the Clone Wars series.
Yep.
They kind of have a whole
that was a cool
where
planet. It was too bad they blew it up, because the giant statues were really neat.
They were really cool, yeah. It was an awesome planet altogether. But I mean, that also begs the question, or puts out the idea of maybe this is what could be the whole idea of the Jedi ending, and maybe the idea of what a Jedi is changing a little bit, and maybe that could be part of it. That you don't necessarily have to follow this, be a part of this order, and because like you said, it was a very specific thing, like being a Jedi.
It was a definition. There were trials that were you had to have a master who approved of your graduation, like Mace or Yoda or Qui-Gon.
Yeah, Jedi was almost like a rank.
That's exactly right.
As opposed
and
to
you had duties to the Republic too, which obviously Luke doesn't have.
Could have grown up using the Force and all that stuff, and
never
his
have been a Jedi
life and all that, but he would never have been considered a Jedi.
Right, because he never rose past Padawan. Right. Yeah, exactly. Padawan is not Jedi. Padawan is an apprentice to become a Jedi. But exactly, Jedi equals PhD. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, exactly. Jedi equals your PhD, or I would say Jedi is your masters, and a Jedi master is a PhD.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. A knight is your master's, and a master is your PhD, which is confusing terminology. But
which is a little bit confusing terminology, but that's definitely how I would say it worked. Like Yoda had his PhD. No, because Plo Koon was also on the council. I'm trying to think of just some Jedi. Ayla wasn't on the council, so like Ayla would have been.
Mace had his PhD.
Yeah, like Mace had his PhD, but then like whatever. But yeah, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, no, that's a good question, man.
Masters.
Because honestly, I remember when I first saw that, I was like, I thought the same thing. Like, could he be considered a Jedi because he's really force sensitive. But then I kind of thought of him almost like
yeah. Pedro says Luke took the fast track. Luke didn't have to do. Luke got his PhD when he was 14, like some kind of crazy mathematician.
Yeah, right. So that also, I think that kind of answers our question from before too, or my question from before, which is, in this new canon, how do we gauge Luke's powers? But I mean, if we can basically just say like, all right, well, he was able to get to where some Jedi got to in half the time, almost a quarter of the time. Yeah, he obviously was really powerful.
Yeah, no, Luke is. I mean, if you're going by midi-chlorians, they're off the chart. And there's been debate in the past, before the canon got thrown out, there was debate whether he was actually more powerful than Anakin, and whether the Chosen One prophecy actually came true, but didn't refer to Anakin, referred to Luke. Which is kind of debunked by the fact that Vader is the one who threw the Emperor off the Death Star balcony. But Luke is considered by a lot of people to be stronger than Vader in almost every way, with the exception of the fact that the willingness to use the dark side is a little bit more, I guess, aggressive than a light sider could be. You know what I mean? It shows a little bit less reluctance to do just about anything, and I guess that could be considered a strength, but I think Luke would consider it a weakness.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Luke is definitely, and I don't know if this is so true anymore because we don't know much about Luke anymore.
Yeah, no, he's pretty mysterious.
Yeah, he seems changed. He seems like he went through some stuff. Like,
yeah, no kidding. He's like,
he looks like he saw some stuff. You know.
Burn his dad.
Yeah, right. Like, because honestly, this time around, he definitely looks much more not as optimistic.
Yeah, he's not a farm boy anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely.
This is a real war. You know what I mean? He's seen the absolute horrors that a war provides, and I think that. Oh my God! I just got clotheslined by that. I think that people don't recognize it as a legitimate war if you put it into the, context of like World War II or something.
And that's one of the reasons why, even though it wasn't the star film out of all of them, that's really one of the biggest reasons why I did like Rogue One, is because we got to see Star Wars more as a war.
Right.
I mean, war is in the title of
and
the
almost
movie,
like a civil war too.
Yeah, exactly.
People
fighting. We got to see it like
themselves
on the ground, kind of like doing, and I mean that's really what it was. It's a bunch of rebels who,
because
I mean if you look at how the rebellion started, it was a bunch of different factions, and then they slowly came together.
And that's the one thing I really liked about Rogue One, is that they showed that they had like the different factions not wanting to get involved in a war and backing out, and Mon Mothma kind of being a little disappointed about it. That was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting them to show really any of that, and it was cool.
Yeah, and in the Aftermath book series, you learn how much of an integral role Bail Organa had in putting together the rebellion. I mean, if it wasn't for Bail Organa, there wouldn't have been.
There wouldn't have been,
There would have been no rebellion. He was the reason why there was one.
He's the RTD2 of the rebellion.
Basically, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I mean, this is obviously much newer canon, but if it wasn't for him, Ahsoka would never have been joined up with some of the rebels in Star Wars Rebels and all of that. Like, if you guys do follow Star Wars Rebels at all, who are listening,
I do.
Yeah, you should. It's really good. So yeah, Ahsoka wouldn't have linked up with them at all if it wasn't.
Fulcrum.
Yeah, she wouldn't have become Fulcrum if it wasn't for him. So yeah, it was great. Like so yeah, man, The Last Jedi is like shaping up to like, I mean,
Be dope.
it's shaping up to be just really, it's gonna be deep. Like, it's gonna be a great movie just as far as films go, and then as far as in the Star Wars universe goes, I think
gonna be something totally new. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something new and something familiar all at the same time, which is what we've come to expect from Star Wars. Like, something different, but a familiar universe.
God, they have
that,
the Emperor, and they have Krennic, and they have Bosk running around, and I'm getting
our heroes got wrecked,
down.
so we're probably gonna lose.
Yeah, they
There's
do
a hero
have like
pickup
3.
right
Yeah, they
there.
have 2 heroes to like 1. Who do we have right now?
No one.
I don't even know.
Chewie died.
Chewie died.
9 nuns is running around.
Yeah,
Okay.
nuts. I might be able to get this hero picked up. Actually,
Yeah, I was
so.
gonna say go get it.
Oh,
Pedro, if you get a chance to read the books. He just said he hasn't,
Yeah.
and I haven't read them all either, but just because there's a ton of them. But even the
Yeah.
old canon books are really good. The Legacy of the Force
Yeah.
series, the Thrawn trilogy, the Han Solo adventures, they're all
Yes,
really
I
cool.
mean, if you get a chance, I'm going through the new Thrawn book now. It's super. I got to meet Timothy Zahn, by the way.
Yeah,
who wrote
yeah,
it, and
big
he's a really great guy. He's a really good dude, and the book itself is so good. I'm not that deep into it yet, but even what I've gotten through so far is incredible. I've actually been able to read all of the new canon books. So all of the books that have recently come out that are canon, I've been able to get through all of them. And I would recommend reading them only in the sense that there are common threads throughout each book that I feel Disney is specifically trying to like harp on. So that way, when we have hints to clues, like in Star Wars Battlefront 2, I've said this a couple times now, but in Star Wars Battlefront 2, that red hooded cybernetic Emperor Palpatine that's running around, he gets an entire explanation in the Aftermath series. So definitely read through the Aftermath series. Read Bloodline, because that's Leia. That's all Leia, and it talks very much about Leia and Han's relationship. Kylo comes up in conversation. We don't ever get to see him in the book. He comes up in conversation, but you start to get a way better understanding of Kylo's relationship with his father and his mother, and why he turns to the dark side, because they're not great parents. That's the only spoiler I'll give.
Like they said in the movie,
parents.
they're not parents. You know what I mean? They were never.
Yeah.
That was never their role in their lives.
Yeah. She was a general. He was a smuggler.
Right. That's what they.
I mean, that's what they were.
Even in the old
canon,
canon, they're caring parents, but they're not necessarily what you would
don't get me
consider
wrong, they
great
care.
traditional parents.
Yeah, they care, but in the sense of tradition, like, they left open a window for someone to come in and be influential in his life.
Right.
And I think they thought it would be
They thought
Luke,
it'd be Luke, and it wasn't. Right.
and it wasn't.
Even in
because
the
he
old
just
canon,
has too
that's
much
almost
Vader.
exactly what happened.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, all the new canon is great because it all does. Disney's doing a great job, even with the comic books, of tying everything is tied in together. Like, it's all, you can definitely, you feel like it's all in the same universe, even when you're reading different stories. So I would check it out. So yeah, The Last Jedi, we got that awesome behind the scenes look, and then we also got a really cool behind the scenes look at Battlefront 2.
And then Kylo's new fighter.
Yeah, we got to see his new fighter. I'm in the same realm as you with the behind the scenes look at Battlefront 2. I didn't really need it.
Yeah, I'm down to see nothing more from Battlefront until we get the beta. I mean, I know that people are kind of hungry for it, but like I can play this one and I can wait for the beta and be really stoked about it. The fact that we know there's a campaign is enough information for me.
Yeah, and I like that they didn't give anything away too. I mean, we now know that that general we see on the bridge is Iden Verso's father.
Right.
And so there's kind of that like family theme still running throughout.
Right. Sure.
Throughout Star Wars, which is great. So we still have that. We got to see. So I think one of them. Oh, I'm gonna forget the third one's name. So there's Hask. And there's, oh god, what was like the funnier guy's name in like the little squad that they have? I can't remember, but either way, they told us a little about each squad. So we got one, it seems like that's a gunner. Squad. we got one that seems like it's a gunner, like Iden Verso, the main
look,
character,
it's the three
is
of
like
us.
a starfighter.
We're the three
So-
chosen ones.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
I'm the chosen one.
So yeah, it's
I'm a gunner,
Iden Verso's definitely like a pilot. She's like a specialty pilot. So I think that and we got to see a little bit of gameplay, and it looks like it's pretty much like any sort of shooter, first story mode. Nothing too crazy or special or new that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I
as far
honestly
as
think if the
mechanics go.
campaign's gonna do anything, it'll just add to the canon a little bit. I don't know that it's gonna be like a world-breaking video game, but
looks
if
cool
it
on there.
adds like a new character to, between, if it shows like Maz Kanata or something, you know what I mean? Then it'll, I mean, you have to play it to get the full story.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, it looks
Lego
like-
Star Wars. Like, no one cares about Lego Star Wars except me and Will
Except
Dearborn if you're
you.
listening. But you have to play it. Like, if you want to learn the story of C-3PO's Red Arm, for a while, the only way to find out that story was by playing Lego
Was
Star
to play,
Wars.
yeah, before the comic book came out. Yeah, the only way to know was through Lego
And it
Star
has,
Wars,
like,
that's
how they
true.
catch the Rathars and stuff. Like, it's little bits of canon that if you just care about the movies, you don't care about. But if you want to know everything, that's the new book that we used to have when we were little. Or like the Star Wars magazine they used to send out to the fan club that had little story details. This is the new version of that.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, and then we also got to see the new TIE fighter that Kylo's gonna be riding.
Yeah, the TIE silencer, which is dope.
Did you post that to our Facebook
Not yet,
page?
because I couldn't find a
Not
live
yet.
link. I'm gonna post it tonight.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah. So you'll be able to see it on our Facebook page tonight. Take a look at it. It's clean. It's very clean looking.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
want a
much
Lego
more,
one.
It's much sleeker. Oh, I definitely want a Lego one. I definitely want a Lego one. It's
I want
much
to fly in
sleeker
it in
than,
Battlefront 2 as well. Oh my god, it's really.
I
It
think-
looks
Which I think we will
fast.
be able to.
It's got
I think
missile
we'll
launchers.
Be able to right away, won't we? If you
Yeah.
pre-order, you'll get his ship, a star
Right.
card for a ship or something.
That would make sense because you get the Millennium Falcon if you get Rey, right?
Right.
I think so. Oh my gosh, the Millennium Falcon against his ship is going to be awesome. Plus,
Yeah, it's gonna be
not only
fast.
that-
It's got missiles. It's gonna be really, really cool.
Not only that, but we've confirmed being an awesome pilot, it runs in the Skywalker genome. Like,
Oh,
that's just in the
definitely,
Skywalker line. Like, being an awesome pilot just comes with being a Skywalker, apparently. 'Cause, and it also, I also
You
have
got
feeling
a
that maybe
9-year-old
we're gonna
pod
see
racing. He's the only human
Yeah,
that can do it.
exactly,
this!
That's transmitting.
That's a neat trick.
Oh,
This time I'm
God.
gonna finish.
You know what? I like the pod races, man.
I do too.
I love the pod races. I
I
thought
do
they were
too, man.
so cool, man. I
There's
thought
very
the sound
few of
that
episode
engine,
1 that I
like-
hate on. I'll be honest. Like I know a lot of people don't like certain things, but there's not that much in episode 1 that I really hate.
No, there wasn't. I agree with you. Like, honestly, like, the pod races were my favorite part of that movie. Like, they were
Oh, that
really
no.
cool.
That's not true.
They felt brand new.
That was your
They
favorite
felt
part?
like...
Yeah, but you have
That was
Darth
definitely
Maul.
my favorite part of the movie, man.
What's
I
wrong
mean,
with
Darth
you?
Maul was awesome.
You've got
but
the
as
Duel
far
of the
as, like,
Fates
being
song.
a kid and,
You have
like,
Darth Maul
sitting
flipping
in, like, in
around
front of
with a dual
screen.
blade. No,
As
you're
far as
wrong.
being a kid and sitting in front of a screen, I was excited about seeing those pod races. That was the
Oh,
fun
It
yeah.
part.
wasn't Darth Maul?
Your
The Darth
favorite
Maul
scene
part
of
was sick, but
episode
that
2
was
is
the
the
fun
lake
part,
scene,
you know
wasn't
what
it?
I mean?
He was just excited about the sand
Dude,
people.
I actually really like the scene where they're in the one of my favorite
In the
scenes is when they're
field?
like in the middle of the field.
Riding
yeah,
the
that's
cow?
Like,
He pretends he's
that's
dead.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, dude. Yeah, dude,
What?
that scene's awesome, man.
What?
Only because during that, like, Anakin like reveals like so much more about himself than
Sure. That's,
man.
no, you're not wrong. It's just funny that it would be your favorite. I mean, there's...
It's one of my favorite. As far as in the second movie, I can't say that. I mean, in the second one, my favorite was when
When Yoda flips his saber
Jedis.
out. When
All
Yoda
the
gets
Jedis
real,
rush the
oh my
stage,
god.
man.
When he pulls his
When
cape
Yoda
to
gets
the
real, it's
side
awesome.
and the
I just remember
saber
seeing,
flips
like,
into
that
his
That's when
hand.
everyone pooped their pants.
That's true. That was an awesome scene. That was definitely.
That was
bro.
unbeatable. You
If
can't...
that and when they all came out onto like the that big field and all that, and he killed.
Yeah, and they all got
dude,
That was
Shrek.
awesome.
Yeah.
They all got
I like
destroyed.
that same scene where the
That was
clones swooped in and saved the day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
Like Dooku
that was awesome.
Yoda,
And then
I
seeing
mean-
Kamino was really cool too.
Yeah, but it's not Dooku
That was
Yoda.
also awesome. No, Dooku Yoda was probably my favorite lightsaber battle is always going to be Anakin, Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
That's the best lightsaber battle of all time.
I'm stoked
Like,
to see what Rey Kylo is like once Rey has some training.
Dude, honestly, like that probably listed my top 5 now as lightsaber battles go because like Kylo has been training. Like Kylo's been like
she's
legit
just pure,
training.
pure
And it's
raw
all
skill.
like and honestly, as far as like, because we haven't talked about this much, but a lot of people are really interested in like Rey's lineage and where she's from.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
lot of people hate on
theories
Kylo for that fight though.
Right, because he got pooped on.
Because he
got murdered, dude. He got freaking wrecked.
But I mean, you gotta remember, he just killed his dad, and he got shot by Chewie. So
And
I mean,
he's
like,
cocky. His dad would be disappointed in him for being cocky. Don't get cocky.
That's true. Which you do, honestly, you do have that like kind of side of Han Solo when you see Kylo Ren. He has
he's
that
got
arrogance
arrogance. Yeah.
about him, and he definitely would get that from his father.
And
for
Luke
sure.
would not be down with that.
No, not at all. But you know what? It's funny because I wonder if Luke would have found that like endearing because it's like, oh, you know, you're just like your dad,
Han.
or if
Yeah,
he would have been like,
not as a Jedi.
no, dude, like that was
He'd
one
be
of
like,
the
you're gonna
things
get
that your
people
dad
killed.
had, like, yeah, like this, you got to stop with that crap. Like that's a, that's a dark side trait. So I wonder probably more towards that because I feel like he definitely was trying to like make the Jedi better than they were, especially after having learned about them. So. But yeah, no. As far as Rey's parents and who they are, it's going to be really interesting to see if they were Jedi's, and who they were, because I have a feeling they're really powerful.
Someone in her family is force sensitive. I mean, I know there's a lot of speculation that it's Obi-Wan. There's a lot of speculation,
think
but
it's Obi-Wan. I think
it's
it's Palpatine.
obvious that it's force sensitive.
I think Palpatine's her grandfather. I want Palpatine to be her grandfather.
oh, that'd be pretty sick.
That's what I want, man.
What's his face? What if she's Kylo's brother?
No.
No?
No, there's no way.
Or
Because they both met her.
Yeah.
Like they both met her, and like Leia would have been like, "Oh, I was pregnant before," and Leia's force sensitive. She would be able to sense her kid. You know what I mean?
I think
Like, she'd
Leia
be able
knows
to
it's
sense
her
own
kid.
Oh, that's true. Because there was the scene when Chewie gets back
Yeah.
from
I
whatever.
think
and she
Leia
walks
knows,
right
and
past
she's
Chewie
like,
and goes to Rey without even knowing her. She had
Right.
no clue who she was at that point. And
I
goes
think
right to her
Leia
and gives her a
knows
hug.
and doesn't have any interest in saying something. I
Maybe
think,
that's
and
why
I've talked
Han
about
was
this
so
with
keen
Will.
on her too.
I think you're right. I think Leia knows that she had a baby, but Kylo had already gone bad or started to go bad, and they didn't want to risk that happening to her too. So they
Maybe Han's
hid
not the
her
dad.
away on some trash planet. No, Han's the dad. Don't be stupid. But
No, I think it's a love child between Luke and Leia.
it's
honestly.
Wedge. Wedge and
Wedge's
Tilly.
kid.
But I do. I think she's got to have force sensitive parents, and I mean
that's definitely
that's the only way to
is gonna
explain it.
happen.
And she can. There's too much like creepiness. Like you said, Han likes her. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, she can fly the Falcon like it's her job, and no one can fly the Falcon. And three, like Leia's all over. I'm just.
That's true. That's what tipped me off to her being a little like being more important than she was being led on, because I even remember in the theater thinking Chewie just lost his best friend, his brother,
Right.
basically. I mean, Han was his brother, and the only person who really knew the depth of that relationship was Leia.
Yeah.
And
Right.
she
No.
literally she
went right by him.
Chewie walked right by her and went straight to a girl she's never met before.
Right, which could
and
just be
gave
her
a hug and
caring and
embraced her.
making sure she's okay. But I'm telling you, she's related to him. You heard it here.
Maybe.
The Kylo Ren
Maybe.
stuff and Rey's a solo.
Well, you know what, they like, and also, and this has been touched on before in a lot of other different videos out there online. So if you guys have heard this before, I'm sorry, but for this people who haven't heard this kind of stuff, it is really interesting. Like there is like a lot of points in the Force Awakens where they know who Rey is. Snoke knows who Rey is.
Right. Yeah, they're like,
Kylo
oh,
knows
we
who
found
Rey
her.
is.
Yeah.
He's like, when he says, oh, he's with a girl. what girl?
Right.
He chokes the shit out of that dude.
Right,
He's
right,
like,
yeah.
what girl? Like, dude, it better not be that girl that I'm thinking about. Like, they know who Rey is, and it seems like you said, all these main characters, Kylo, Snoke, Han, Leia, even Luke gives her that look of like
recognition. Right.
like,
I think that Luke didn't want to train any more Jedi, and that's why she's not with Luke. And also, Kylo started to turn bad, and they didn't want to make the same mistakes with her that they made with him. So they left her on this random planet.
So they left her on a planet.
And don't forget that old dude. That old dude was on the planet who knew Leia. The dude from Game of Thrones. What's his name? Lars Tanaka or something like that. The dude who gets Shrek at the very beginning of the movie. That guy could have been like Obi-Wan, where he's on the planet just to make sure she's okay. And he had the map to Luke. Oh my God, it's coming together. He had the map to Luke. He was on the planet to make sure that no one got to Rey, just like Obi-Wan was on Tatooine for Luke. And he just got super old and crusty, and poop hit the fan. That's exactly what happened. I don't even need to convince you anymore. And then, in the old canon, in the Legacy of the Force series, which obviously is out now, but there are enough similarities between what's going on now and the Legacy of the Force series that maybe they're sticking to some of it, if not all of it. The Solos have twin children named Jason and Jaina.
That's true, they do.
And Jason turns bad and becomes basically the Darth Vader of his generation, kind of like Kylo Ren, and Jaina does not.
Oh my God, that's right, dude.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
They're siblings.
You're right.
That old dude is Obi-Wan. They're siblings.
Man. You're convincing me of things tonight that before I was previously like, no, that's dumb. But now I'm like, oh my God.
I hadn't planned on this, but it's just natural when I'm right.
You're right. Dude, I think you might be at least onto something, because I was unconvinced that they would, because I felt like that was too easy as far as storytelling went. Like, I felt like that was
I think it's too
simple.
easy.
It's not.
But then, like I said, the answer to all these questions has to be a simple one. And honestly, the only downside ties in really well with your Snoke theory.
The only downside to the Rey theory is that J.J. Abrams came out and again explicitly said after episode 7, but before 8, that Rey's parents are not in Force Awakens. They do not appear.
Yeah.
So if it's Han and Luke, if it's Han and Leia, then he's straight line. But he could be.
That's true. But we also, like, for the first part of, for the first whole entire movie of whatever, we didn't know that Vader was Luke's father.
No, right? No, he came out and said that we've never seen her parents on screen before, and he might not be telling the truth, but if he is telling the truth, then my theory is
using one of those things where it's like, oh, we've never seen her parents on screen, but maybe there's something that, like, makes it so that they didn't know they were her parent or something like that. So like them, you never know. Also, I don't know. Now I almost, that theory makes a lot of sense. I would like to see that almost, because I'd like to see some, like, discord.
Well, it's better than having some. Plus, Maz Kanata recognized her eyes. That's the other thing. But anyway, that theory would be better than having her just be some, because she has to be the child of a Force user. I think we all agree on that. So if she's the child of a Force user and she's not Luke's child and she's not Han and Leia's child, then she's the child of some random Force user that we've never seen before. And to me, that's kind of lame. And I don't know that I like that better than my theory. I think that's lamer than my theory.
Yeah, I mean, to keep the whole keeping it tied together thing going, as far as, like, family members and all that, I think, you're right. That would be really clean. Like we said, the idea of this is, like, you can't make it too muddy because you're gonna confuse audience members or just annoy audience members with a complex storyline. So it has to be it's not like entertaining to watch, you know what I mean?
Right.
That would be story to watch.
Erica has a good point. She said she wants to know why she has an accent, which is very Obi-Wan-esque. She's not saying that necessarily they're related.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're honestly, because that's also one of the theories that people are using to tie her to Palpatine. Which is that she has, like,
but that's just how the language works in Star Wars. That's what basic is that you have an accent.
Yeah, basic is you have the accent. Yeah. Han actually, because of his upbringing,
right? He's on Corellia, which is not. Yeah. They use right. It's totally different.
It's not a core planet.
Right,
so if you're from these core planets, you talk like Tarkin. You speak like
civilization.
Palpatine. You speak like the Imperials. Like you have an Imperial. That's the core.
Right. All the
accent,
Imperial officers have accents. Even the clones all have accents.
Yeah. Because there's this like hierarchy within the Star Wars universe that I don't know. I can't think about the movies and if they really do explain it. In the books, they explain it much better. But there is this hierarchy of core worlds, and those are like basically the upper crust. That's like the high end of society.
Right.
Then you have like these worlds that are kind of like in between, and then you have the outer rim, where that's where Tatooine is. That's where Palpatine comes from. That's where Naboo is out that way. What's its name is out that way too. The planet that Tarkin comes from is out that way, Iriadu. So, like, you have this like outer rim, and those people are considered like scum, basically. Like, they're not like.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of racism in Star Wars. There's a lot of anti-alien sentiment. Like, in the Empire, you can't be an officer and be an alien in most cases. In the
Empire, there really
extended
aren't any
universe,
officers that are
you
aliens.
can, but only because the Empire got blown up and there's no clones left. So that's when you start to see like Mon Calamari or what's that, Freyline or something like that. Those little furry ones that can send out pheromones.
Yeah.
There's an admiral that's one of them. A Thaleen, that's what it's called.
I think you're right.
So I mean, there's a lot of racism against aliens, and that's why you have Wookiees as slaves. You have a lot of
Kashyyyk became a slave world.
Right, and there's no alien Sith that are canon other than Maul. So it's
Maul and Asajj.
Right, so it's
Asajj Ventress.
and even Grievous wasn't Sith. So there's a lot of
that's true. And I don't think Asajj ever reached
full
the rank of Sith.
Right.
Yeah, she never reached the rank because she was actually being used the whole time.
Right.
She was
even they're more likely to use clones than they are aliens because even you have like the Reborns who take over the red lightsabers, but they're not aliens. They're just clones of basically Anakin.
Yeah. And then now you have the Reborns have basically been repurposed into the Inquisitors now.
Right.
From Rebels, and now those guys also carry red lightsabers, but they're not Sith.
They're just soldiers basically.
They're just soldiers who know how to wield lightsabers. That's it. They're not considered Sith though. So yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, in the canon material, there really isn't any alien Sith.
No, this is the buttload of
except
racism.
Maul. Maul was the only one who made it to rank of Sith apprentice. Same with Asajj Ventress. She was a Sith apprentice, but she never
and it doesn't have anything to do with there only being two. Because even if you look at all the like, not Padawans, but the Sith apprentices, they're all human.
Yep. Huh. So yeah, no, there is this weird hierarchy and racism, or I don't even know what they would call it, classism more like.
No, there's classism from the core worlds to the outer rim. You're totally right. There's just racism towards aliens.
Towards aliens, yeah, which is pretty interesting. And it makes the books like a really interesting read too.
Right. Even intelligent like sentient communities like Wookiees or Ewoks or whatever. I mean, they're not all sand people. Some of them have like societies and families and like emotions and laws.
Definitely have like a very society.
Right.
Like Chewbacca has a family. Like
right. He's got a wife and kids.
Chewie had wife and kids and all that stuff. Yeah, and that's canon. Like he had that's a real It's not. It was Legends, but now it is canon because it was in the Aftermath books. he was like he had to go try to rescue them because they were slaves. So that's one of the things that you know, why he loves Han so much.
Yeah, he rescued that. Well, he owes him a life debt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, those the like kind of, I guess, racial stuff and stuff within Star Wars is really interesting. And not only that, but the more you get into like, this is what's so great about Star Wars. Like, each character is so deep and has like a planet and a home, and that planet has a history, and everything is tied together in such a really unique way that you don't get in a lot of other storylines other than Star Wars. So, but yeah, so I'm trying to make sure we covered everything. So we talked about The Last Jedi coming out. We talked about the new, TIE Fighter. If you play the game, I think it's called Galaxy of Heroes. If you play Galaxy of Heroes, Ewoks just got introduced into that game.
I told you Galaxy of Heroes was going to come up at D23. And I told you,
you were right.
I was going to be mad about it. And here I am mad about it.
Here I stand, angry as hell. Yeah, so that did come up, and Ewoks are now in the game. I don't play much Galaxy of Heroes. If you do play,
yeah, no.
I can play as Wicket. Nice.
I can't wait.
Yeah, right. Now I can kill some stormtroopers and roast their bodies over a fire.
Yeah. Play bongos on their helmets.
Stormtrooper armor is the most useless piece of crap.
Yeah. It's just plastic. I mean, they get shot in the armpit and they're roasted.
It's nothing at all. Like, honestly, it's funny because at one point in time they do explain. Like, they explain in Star Wars Rebels why troops are such lousy shots.
It's because they can't see out of their helmets.
They can't see out of their helmets. Their helmets are crap. Their helmets aren't good at all.
Even in New Hope, when Luke says you can't see out of this thing, he's that's an ad lib. Mark Hamill was just saying that, and they kept it in the movie, which is really funny. But yeah, no, their regulation, because the whole thought is that. You know, similar to something like Nazis, that you'd have this giant wall of uniformly dressed, indistinguishable death machines. It's
they could just
super intimidating to their enemies. Right, that's true, especially since they're all clones.
Well, it's supposed to be a faceless.
It has like a gas mask.
It's just menacing.
It was supposed to be like a faceless.
Right, and you're right, the gas mask
everything was the Emperor. Like, yeah, that's true.
And that's a communicator. You know what I mean? Like, they have purposes, they just can't see crap.
They just can't see, they're just crappy helmets. And honestly, they also say, like, they also talk about in the books that because they were mass-produced on such a large scale, the quality from the clone troopers to the, like, Imperial troopers, like, diminished.
Well, the other thing is that they're mass-produced, and they're molded off of Jango Fett's skull. And after the first Death Star blew up, none of the stormtroopers were clones anymore. All the clones died on the first Death Star. So they're wearing helmets that aren't fit to them.
Yeah.
And
that's true. That's also
true. Until this newest line of stormtroopers from Force Awakens.
We get a rework of the armor. So this armor seems like it works a little bit better.
Yeah, you can see.
It looks like the helmets. Yeah, the helmets, you can actually see out of them now. They have, like, now they've developed technology, and this is how you know Snoke or somebody must be leading them, because they developed technology specifically to fight against lightsabers.
Right.
So, like, clearly there's, like, it's have the mission of, like, wanting to get rid of the Jedi. So, but yeah, so other than that, we had some cool Legos come out.
I can't wait for a Lego TIE.
We had
whatchamacallit.
Then that TIE Fighter is it's gonna be pretty great. I can't wait to play it in Battlefront, man. I cannot wait to play
it. Just looks so fast, like it's built for asteroid fields. I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, and the last thing. Oh, this was the last thing. Gamescom this year. It's in August, I believe. I can't remember what specific day. It's in August. There will be some Battlefront 2 gameplay. We're gonna see more of. I think we're gonna see more of Theed. And then a new map, and we're gonna see. Oh, we're gonna see these the Starfighter Assault. We're gonna be able to see the new game mode. So there's that as well. I'm, like I said, I am kind of cool on Battlefront 2 stuff at this point. We're
I just want the
definitely
beta.
gonna be checking it out. Oh yeah, we're
I can't
definitely
wait to
checking
stream
out
the
so that
beta.
way you guys can see it. But the beta is really what I'm extremely excited for the beta. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait for October. I can't wait for November,
If we
really,
could
and
just skip
December.
August,
Like,
that'd be great.
if we could just
Yeah.
get through if we just get through August, because football season's about to come back around too.
Oh yeah, I'm setting up my fantasy league this week.
I was gonna say, I didn't know if you did play
Nice.
fantasy, but if you do, that's awesome because I've been trying to run a league. But yeah, no, football's back around. Jedi's coming out. Last Jedi's coming out. Battlefront's gonna be out. So it's a good time of year. If we could just get past the rest of July and August, that would be
Dog
nice.
days.
Actually, well, August is gonna be cool because I figure out if I'm having a boy or a girl. So
Hey, there
there's
you
that
go.
news. So there's that. And I
August is
almost
gonna
have my
suck for me.
wife
Are you
settled
just
on
assuming it's gendered?
Let it name itself.
me and my wife have somewhat. I've almost convinced her on Finn for a name. If it's
Oh, that's
God. That'd be
crazy.
so sick.
FN2187. That's a good name.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it. So there's been some really cool stuff, guys. Let us know what you thought about the last Jedi content we got. We got to see some really cool behind the scenes stuff. Let us know what you thought of all the cool practical effects.
And
that
of
we're
our
gonna
new
see.
theories.
Adam had some really good theories this time.
What do you mean
I'm
this
definitely
time?
thinking this time.
For once. For once.
One time he had
Something
some
to
good theories that I
contribute.
can somewhat agree with. Let us know. Specifically, let us know who you think Snoke may be. Let us know who you think Rey's parents may be. Because I think Adam's theories on both of those were pretty solid. So I want you to disagree with them and tear them apart and give me reasons why they can't possibly be true. So. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. As always, subscribe, leave a comment, like, and you'll be entered to win Star Wars Battlefront 2 for whatever system you would like, either
Shred
Steam
with
or
us.
Xbox or whatever. It'll be super
Yeah, you
fun.
can
Get it for
definitely shred with
PS4
us.
so you could play with us. That'd be awesome.
Well, you can play it with
You
us
can
on either
find us-
system.
Or
Not all of us
Xbox.
are peasants.
Or Xbox, yeah, I can play with you guys on Xbox.
I've got it
because
pre-ordered for
I
both.
don't oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, so let us know what you guys are thinking as far as the new content and all that good stuff comes out. We're gonna have pictures up of some of the TIE Fighter. We'll have that up soon. Let us know what you think of that because it's really cool.
Yeah, I'll post those right after this.
Yeah, so from here on out, what we're probably expecting as far as Battlefront news goes, and just Star Wars news in general, we can probably expect to see another trailer. Not within the next couple of weeks, I would say.
Maybe Comic-Con?
say
I would just be surprised
maybe
because
San Diego.
Star
Comic-Con's
Wars is
tomorrow,
not
man.
going to Comic-Con.
That's true. I was gonna say Comic-Con is really soon, and they just dropped the
I'm gonna go lurk outside of it tomorrow.
what's its name. So, oh, that's right. I forget you're out that way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so,
Couldn't get tickets, but you know.
yeah, I'm
I'll
sure,
just go
dude.
try to steal some.
Yeah.
Knock somebody out.
Man. Yeah, knock somebody. Dude, just dress up in a costume and just like don't talk.
Walk
Like,
through.
no,
Just dress
I'm supposed to be
in
in
a
there.
generic security shirt. You're built enough. Just be like, oh yeah, I'm here.
yeah, just put security. Put security.
Where are you
on the
clocking
back.
again?
Yeah, where'd you guys need me? Where am I supposed to be?
Roger, Roger.
Yeah, I got a
Roger,
code for
Roger.
a 3-9er inside. I gotta
We've
get in.
got a 3.9 static X20 active.
We got a 2319. We got a 2319.
TK421, do you copy?
That's awesome. Yeah, sneak your way in. But yeah, guys, you can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're popping on Instagram, yo.
Poppin'.
Jared's got us. Jared's got our
200
Instagram.
followers.
200 followers, son. 200 followers.
Kim Kardashian, here we come.
Yeah, exactly, son. Exactly. We're about to be more famous than that hoe. So, so
Kanye's
yeah,
pissed
guys.
right now. He's watching our stream.
Hashtag fire Kim Kardashian. That's gonna get some views.
Right? I'm trying to just last time I think I went after Screen Rant. If someone could just like, I'm just gonna keep insulting
Comicsreview.com.
people and someone leaves a comment.
No one likes you,
Someone leaves a
Kanye.
comment and gets us famous. Yeah, you suck, Kanye. Put us on your
The
thing.
music sucks.
College Dropout was good, but what was it? 808s and Heartbreak sucked. That album was garbage. coming after you, Kanye. But either way, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, all that to Star Wars Battlefront. And once I've like come into a conclusion that nobody wants this patch. So what I'm gonna do is once we hit 50,
I want the patch.
Once we hit 50 subs, dude, all anyone has to do is just leave a comment mentioning the patch, and they'll get it. And no one's done it. Like, no one will do it. So no one wants this patch. So what I'm gonna do is once we get to 50 subs on YouTube, I'm gonna give away like a little care package. The patch might be in that, unless you can leave a stupid message and just take this goddamn patch. Then I'll be happy.
Oh, that guy just died. Did you watch it?
Yes, I saw that.
I still haven't. So, but yeah, as always, I'm the same person every week, Chaz. I'm joined by Adam and Jared, my two co-hosts.
Thanks for Pedro and Erica with the comments.
Thank you very much for comments. We really appreciate that, guys. And yeah, I think we can take special guests off now because I think Jared's been on for a couple. I don't think you're a guest anymore.
But he's
not
special
a guest
though.
You gotta, we will leave special. with special Jared. We'll just put special Jared. Talking shit with special Jared.
Oh, man.
It's called from now on. But alright guys, we'll check you next week. If you have anything you want to talk about next time we come through, next Wednesday, let us know.
Unless we get something at Comic-Con, and then that's all we'll talk about.
Yeah, then we'll probably talk about that. But if not, we're pretty open as far as next week goes for topics, so let us know what you guys want to chat about. There's a lot of stuff going on. So let us know, but we'll see you then.
Later.
Peace.
Oh, I forgot I have to end the broadcast. Hold on.